just when you thought it was safe. Curriculum change, PCP has gone and got a court case. It's proof for the deniers, revealing all the liars. UNESCO co-conspirers, stealing away your rights as a parent, a guardian. Remove your right to disagree. Chosen from the age of 3, exposing kids to CSE. Change the name to RSE, it's mirrored inequality. Legally made it mandatory, dictated by the GOV.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are well. Welcome to our show. My gosh, it's been a very long time, particularly since I've been on. So I do apologise for that. So for anyone who doesn't know who I am, my name's Lucia Thomas, and I am one of the founding members here at Public Child Protection Wales. Next to me is Kimberly Aisherwood. Most of you, if not all of you, would know Kim. She is definitely the one with the mouth, and she gets herself everywhere.
How are you doing tonight, Kim? I'm all right, not too bad. Guys, if I've got my head down, it's because I'm sharing. We've got a very important show for you tonight. Like Lucia said, it's been a while since we've been on. So before we go any further, let's give a shout out to Nigel Thorne, because he has been keeping this platform going. His work is invaluable. You know, it really does. He really gets into the nitty gritty of the documents, guidance, the people behind it, the funders. He leaves no stone unturned. And we will be hearing more from Nigel possibly next week. Nigel's coming on. He's going to discuss his videos, the Nigel Thorne series. And we're also going to be discussing a book, Grandpa's Pride. So that's something to look forward to, guys. Also, we have recorded another presentation. This presentation is for the whole of the UK. It will be put out in 3 parts, live streamed in 3 parts for you guys. So that's something for you to share far and wide. As always, fully referenced. Don't believe a word we say. Challenge everything we say, just in the same way you would challenge those who are supposed to be safeguarding your children.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Always research everything, because when you do look into it, then you're gonna know 100% that what we're saying is actually true. So anyway, on to tonight's show. We have got 2 incredible mums from Brecon who are fighting this big fight to try their utmost to stop the Drag Queen Story Hour coming to Brecon. And this has been a story all over the UK. You know, people have had this all these drag queens come into their libraries and read into the children, and it's the taxpayer that is paying for this. So, you know, obviously that's not the main concern, where the money's coming from. The main concern is the safeguarding of our children. So before we say anything else, please can we share this video far and wide? Share it in groups that you're part of. Share it on your profile. Just get it out to everyone, because we need this message out as far as possible. The girls have got some very valuable information as well. So, you know, they can help you do the same thing in your communities. So without further ado, I will meet Roseanna.
And while Lucia's bringing on the ladies there, guys, I just want to remind you all that these ladies are currently running a petition against this act, which is set to take place on the 2nd of September. So if you guys can get hold of that link before I can, if you can post it within the chats, we are streaming over 4 different platforms.
No, we've actually got some development since then. And Lucy, if you just want to introduce yourself quickly and then let us know what's going on with that petition.
Yeah, so sorry. So just quickly, I'm Lucy. I've got 2 children. One is neurodivergent. Both have been home educated for 3.5 years, but have actually, much to my dismay, decided that they want to go back into the education system. And so this is one of the reasons why I am so passionate about fighting this, because obviously it's directly affecting my own children potentially. And I was fighting it before because I was going to protect everyone's children, because somebody has got to step up, you know. But yeah, so that's who I am. In regards to the petition, I put it up on the 19th of August. Every time I was looking at it, it was incrementally just rising and rising and rising. And I was super shocked, actually, because we got to 1,144 signatures within 5 days, which is amazing. I got an email today saying from change.org, I mean, it's, as it turns out, you know, there's a reason why change.org is corrupt, and it's, you know, funded by George Soros, but that's another thing. So I got an email today saying that it had been pulled because it didn't follow guidelines. Now, I didn't put anything in that petition that wasn't evidenced. And I think what's happened is Brecon Town Council have like vehemently sort of like complained and done all of that. And so they've pulled it. But the point is, we've still got the screenshot showing how well it's done. And I have disputed it. And I've said, is there any amendments I can make to get it reinstated? But at the moment, that's where we're at with the petition. So I think that it scared them how well it was doing so quickly. And they thought, shit, actually, excuse my language, there are a lot of people really opposing this. And so, yes, we have no petition at the moment.
Right. Okay, then on that note, keep us posted on what's happening with that petition, because if they are not going to reinstate it, if you can send us over a digital piece of paper that we can put out on our website for everybody to print off, get it filled in within their street, and we'll get it posted back to you. We can do that. Okay.
Yeah. We were thinking hand signatures as well, but we sort of hadn't got around to it by the time it was pulled, and it just, but we're definitely thinking of that. Thank you.
Well, we can, like I said, we can do that. If you just type one up on a Word document, send it over to us. We'll put it out. We'll send out the marketing campaign to everybody subscribed as well. Print it off, get one side filled in, send it back. That's even better. How good would that be? Turning up with the council with a big file of A4 paper. So every time they give you a kick like this, guys, this, you know, we just rise to the occasion every single time. There was a life before digital platform, and some people forget that, but we need to remember it, because I think that's our most powerful tool, is boots on the street and face-to-face discussions, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's really just going to prove our case even further, you know? It's going to show that actually it's coming from higher and higher, drip feeding down to all the echelons of society, and it's actually the corruption goes deep. And so this is why we have to really raise awareness of this. You know, it's not they're going to do whatever they can to get it pulled, because this is part of a bigger agenda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the problem, ladies? Tell everyone what's the problem. Why are you here? Roseanna's on mute, but there.
Muted.
Read, guys. Roseanna wants all to lip read. Continue. Oh, she's going to come back again. Go on, Lucy. You take the floor while we get Roseanna back on.
So initially, Roseanna posted a post on Facebook about this drag queen ADHD. It wasn't really anything that I'd known a lot about previously. So I read it and I was like, look, something has to be. Hello, you're back.
Sorry.
Okay. So I was like, right, we have to raise awareness about this with the community. So I posted on Brecon Pride initially, asking them to answer a series of questions. I posted on Brecon Town Council. They just kept ignoring me. I ended up getting blocked from Brecon Pride. Brecon Town Council switched off commenting, ignored all my emails, ignored all of my Facebook posts, all of that. I was on the community site posting, and it kept on getting taken down, kept getting removed. So I spoke with admin and I sort of explained that, look, this is not breaking any of the community guidelines. So you have to tell me why this is being pulled. And eventually, because I wasn't breaking guidelines, they did post it. But as it turns out, we've got a police officer who works for Dyfed-Powys Police who was calling for admin to remove all the posts that I was putting on, and she was basically using her position in authority for personal gain, and she was a bit of a troll on all the posts. She was sort of saying, admin, remove this homophobic, this transphobic, this bigot, all of this sort of crap, and so anyway, eventually it was on the site. It caused a lot of controversy. There was lots and lots of posts, and then lots of responsive posts, and it was just, you know, it sort of went quite mad, really. And so Brecon Town Council ignored all of our concerns. They just blanked us. And then after a while, they issued a generic statement, which basically said that they routinely request DBS checks for their performers, which obviously is no assurance that thorough checks and background checks have been done. But they were just hoping that that would satisfy people, you know, and obviously it didn't. So we took it to the Children's Commissioner. Several of us wrote to the Children's Commissioner, and we got a response from them, and then they got a response from Brecon Town Council. They didn't bother answering the concerned parents because they felt that they weren't important, but they did
even tell us their safeguard lead.
They refused to tell us their safeguarding lead, and so did Brecon Pride. They just blocked us when we asked. The Children's Commissioner of Wales came back saying that it was all fine because he's had 3 years DBS checks. Brecon Town Council have a safeguarding policy in place. The performer has completed a risk assessment, and it's a pre-booking event, and parents will be present. Security will also be on hand at the day. Now, the fact that security even has to be on hand at the day really shows that there is going to be controversy surrounding it, and parents are not happy. So they're excuse me, they're anticipating protests. That in itself is showing that the community is really divided on this. So, I just think it's a really inappropriate choice. And that's, considering, we haven't even discussed the reasons why it's so controversial. But
this is the thing as well, when they do get the backlash from us concerned parents and concerned citizens, it's always like they always say, oh, they're just the homophobes or the transphobes. They just throw that at it. And later on, I am going to show a couple of things where, a couple of examples where this has actually been said about other drag acts as well. They just throw that in as soon as you have any concerns about it, they throw it in. Now we know what drag is, we're all adults. We've all come across drag queens in our life. We know what they're all about. Now they're trying to shove it in front of children's faces.
Well, the ironic thing is as well with us is that actually a part of our group, we do have a woman who is lesbian.
Yeah.
So, and she is actually being called homophobic herself.
Yeah, and she was married to a trans woman for 11 years, so she's far from homophobic, transphobic. And it's just very ironic, isn't it, really, that there's a lot of gay people that oppose this,
Exactly. And drag is not actually a sexuality. It doesn't actually mean you're a trans because you're drag. A drag queen could be just a straight man and that is just his job. He's just an adult entertainer.
And the whole nature of a drag act is, is sexual, it's adult entertainment. There's no getting away from that. But we do see, what we do hear a lot of, and somebody actually commented on a post when Lucia had posted off our page regarding your petition. Somebody asked if we're going to petition Christmas time against pantomimes. And my answer was simple. Well, if the cast of the pantomime are using their celebrity status to fundraise for a convicted paedophile's funeral, and they're also posting on their children's entertainment page about orgies, then yes,
I'm
right. There's no two ways about that. So, but at this moment in time, we haven't actually come across that because they are family entertainment. And if you was going to the West End to watch a show which was inappropriate for a child, there would be age restrictions on it. So
what I was trying to make was that actually, oh crap, I've just completely forgot what I was saying then.
Okay, it's okay. So this is it, guys. We are, what is the issue here? Well, time and time again, we have seen the sexual acts trickling into the children's spaces. There was the acting, I said that the other day, that pair, they were there, they put a video on the 1st of June, doing the dances with the children, calling us bigots. Now, TikTok is there for 12-year-olds. The 2nd of June, they come on, they're in the bondage gear, and what were they saying? Lucia, what were they singing?
Oh, they're singing, it's talking about margarita.
Yeah, give me two
margaritas.
Give me one
margarita, and then they talk about sex acts, And these videos.
Children over on Monday, and then they're on the child's platform behaving in a sexual manner on the Tuesday. That is the issue. That is the issue. There was another one we used to put in our presentation, Natalie, and she was from America. There was a video of her on YouTube when she was having a mock interview. And this guy in the mock interview said, "Hey, Natalie, what do you say to those kids that look up to you?" She said, "Those kids that look up to me can suck my dick." And then it moves on to a man having feces dropped onto his face.
This is the point I was trying to make earlier, is ADHD referred, I think we said in the preview, backstage, ADHD referred to himself as a role model for queer 5-year-olds. Now, that to me is absurd. A 5-year-old, half of the 5-year-olds will still be out eating sand when you go to the beach. Do you know what I mean? Yes. They should be exploring their sexual orientation. It shouldn't even be something that we are drip feeding into the minds of children. It's just bizarre. And, even the symbol on his book that he reads to children, he has got, and I know that they would defend this saying it's a polyamory symbol, which in itself is twisted. Like, why are we, even if it was polyamory, why is that on a children's book? It's just completely inappropriate. But obviously that has got heavy connections to PI, the paedophile information exchange, who are advocating for the age of sexual consent to be lowered to 8 years old. I mean, there's all of these links, and yes, they're going to have their ways of sort of worming around it, but we all know that paedophiles have their signs and their symbols and their ways of connecting with others, and we can't ignore it. There's only so many coincidence before it becomes mathematically impossible for it to be a coincidence anymore, and there's just too many with these sort of acts and this drip feeding and normalization of this deviant behavior, in my opinion, in our society.
At this point, I actually want to share my screen to show the book that ADHD does. Like he makes stories, doesn't he? He actually publishes books. So I do want to show on the front cover, like from what following up from what you're saying then, I am going to try and share the screen. I haven't done it for a while, so bear with me. And I know it's right. My first pride was the first one I want to show. So if I share that, let me know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so this is my first pride. This is one of his books. And what you were saying about there on this flag down here, I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yeah.
Can you see on the flag? That is actually the polyamory flag. And polyamory, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Polyamory.
Yeah, that actually means being in a relationship with multiple people at the same time. So why that's on one of the books is, how can that flag or that symbol be on that book? And following on from what you're saying there, Lucy, you're saying that means pi, doesn't it? When we're talking about mathematical symbols, and then we're talking about obviously then we've got the pi, pi. Paedophile information exchange, yeah. And then I just want to go on to this next screen here, and I don't know if you're going to see it if I just flick. Can you see the 3 goats united?
No, not yet.
Oh, right. Okay. Maybe I've got to do it again. Hang on 2 seconds. Let me just go back on here. Nope. Where's my stream? Yeah. Right. Okay. Maybe I've got to stop sharing it and then go back 2 seconds, because I want to show you his other book as well that I have. Share screen. And that would be by here. This is called The 3 Goats United. So can you see that now? This is one of his other books which he's written. The 3 Goats United. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So this book as well is Wales Online actually did an article on it, and Wales Online, they're on this side of wokery, that side of wokery. They were actually big in this book at saying how good it was. Now it does state in there. Now, as you can see, like on his book, My First Pride, he's got a flag there talking about polyamorous relationships. Now, in this book, it does say in the article, it says it's not clear whether these goats are LGBTQ plus, or if they're brothers. But if that's not clear, then obviously we know about all this queer theory and all this introducing these, different types of relationships and sexualities. So, you know, this goes to show that they're almost like promoting this polyamorous relationship within this book. Sort of, I was going to say in, you know, sort of hidden, but it's not actually hidden. It's actually there. It's quite obvious to me.
They're kind of leaving it open to interpretation. So if it is disputed, then they can say, oh, no, actually, you know, they've got leeway to argue it, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
So I've seen him reading a book, and it's not that he's not just reading the words. So he'll read what's happened, and he'll go like this to the children. Oh, that's mean. So he's emotionally manipulating the children against the character in the book. Oh, that's mean. He doesn't say that in the book.
He's not allowing them to come to their own decisions.
No, that's not the words in the book. So you're already emotionally manipulating. Oh, that's mean. You know what it's like with little ones? Oh, that makes me sad. It's easy. It's so easy to manipulate a child. And this is what they're actually doing. Shall we have a look at some of Ada's social media, shall we?
If we want to.
Actually, I think I'll play the Channel 4 interview first. It's very important because they address Ada's social media in that, and then that's a fantastic opportunity for us to counteract what they say. That's what we'll do, guys. This is a 6-minute long video, guys. This is a Channel 4 interview. And obviously it's all in Ada's favour, but
of course
it doesn't matter. Let's have a look.
Those who know.
In this age of discontent and strikes, you might be used to protests and placards. But this is one of many clashes appearing outside events for children. Why?
All I care about is the children.
So do we! Because it's Drag Queen Story Hour, where a drag queen reads to a group of kids. And for some, they just shouldn't be anywhere near young people.
Hello, where are you?
And this is the performance at the centre of it all.
And here we go.
Sab Samuel is Ada HD, the storytime drag queen, a concept he set up back in 2017.
It feels like in the past year, Drag Queen Story Hour is being used as this political maneuver by certain people to either maintain political power or to gain it.
Critics say Sab's social media contains adult humour. He says any such material was before he started Story Hour and has since been deleted. We went to a reading at St George's in Bristol, who say they took the appropriate safeguarding precautions and that Sab provided DBS checks and letters of recommendation. Today's reading was welcome to all ages.
With a river and a pool.
What's the main message of Drag Queen Story Hour?
Oh, have fun. Have fun in life. I don't see me as a teacher of inclusivity. I don't feel I need to teach inclusivity. Kids do not need to be taught how to be inclusive. They already are.
When you say, you know, you are just reading a book. To those who might have questions or concerns, they'll think it's preaching something.
These people think I'm doing some sort of insidious thing, and I'm not. I'm writing stories that are just fun. I'm making them interactive.
What do you think they think is going on here?
So these people think that this is, and I quote, a sex show for kids. This is what they think it is. And I'm concerned for their thought processes in how they genuinely have gone from LGBT event to sex show for kids.
So those people who aren't protesters outside, but they perhaps say drag queens aren't a children's entertainment, what would you say?
Mrs. Doubtfire. Pantomime. Eat it.
After the reading, I talked with parents and the audience. Enjoy it?
The children definitely enjoyed it because it was quite colourful and very interactive. It made the story really, really interesting.
Bristol's a fantastic city
for it. There was no trouble, and actually everybody here out the front was society, which I think is really important. And it's part of the reason it's important to bring the kids as well. It's something you want my children to grow up with an inclusive mindset.
Outside, there was no trouble. One man, who said he was a concerned local, but didn't say if he was for or against the event, did film from across the road. And while he didn't want us to show him, he filmed us.
Hi, guys.
All right.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, we're from Channel 4 News. We're filming at the Drag Queen Story Hour.
Later on, pro-LGBTQ protesters covered his camera. But I wanted to find out what the exact concerns those people who have protested against Drag Queen Story Hours.
When I first found out that there was a drag story hour, obviously that's a concern because drag is adult entertainment.
We travelled to sunny Port Talbot in South Wales and sat down with Kimberly Isherwood. She's part of Public Child Protection Wales, a grassroots group concerned about safeguarding policies. She's previously attended a protest at a reading hour. She brought along 2 colleagues to film us, and I asked her about the event we attended in Bristol.
But as in what we saw?
Yeah, as in what you saw, which they knew you were coming. But we've seen videos then where they dressed in thongs and they're twerking in front of small children. So yeah, obviously they're going a different way. And let's do exactly the same. All groomers are thick, all groomers are friendly.
Because I guess the parents who we spoke to said that they enjoyed the event. There was nothing wrong with them. It's their choice what they take their children to.
Well, it is their choice where they take their children to, but an argument, people are...
Oh, the signal's gone.
Oh.
Using it as children need to learn to read. Well, if you need a drag act for that, there's something wrong, you know. Why are your children not?
Are actually quite upset when they're going to these events and having people shouting on either side or shouting, you know, things about sexualization, about pedophiles. That's quite damaging.
Parents taking them, they know this is going to happen.
But you haven't been LGBTQ issues or that community.
Absolutely not. We're talking about individuals. Everybody is an individual. We celebrate these differences.
I asked Kimberly whether Drag Queen Story Hour was not simply like Panto, an annual British tradition incredibly popular with children and parents.
It is nowhere near like drag.
You don't think you can
Drag is an adult entertainment. You cannot compare the two. I will not accept that argument, plain and simple. We shouldn't even be having this discussion, mind, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think that you should go to more of the events to understand them more? Or do you think
I don't need to understand it. I know drag is adult entertainment. What is to understand?
Throughout her interview, Kimberly referenced images she'd seen from a different drag queen event on social media. And at the reading we attended, there was no evidence whatsoever of any of the accusations she made. We saw no sexual humour. Children were accompanied by their parents. And as we noted earlier, the venue carried out all the appropriate safeguarding checks.
I love it. Thank you.
And so for now, either side will stop either complaining or performing. And so the protest will continue, and the readings will too.
Right, then, I think we should actually look at the evidence that we provided to Channel 4. The evidence they were discussing, the evidence they said was posted before he was a children's entertainer and since has been deleted. So let's just test that theory, shall we? He has been a children's drag story time since 2017. So let's just have a look at the date on his drag story page. Because it wouldn't be drag story hour if he wasn't entertaining children, would it?
Exactly.
No, it would just be drag. So let's just take a little look at the dates on these, shall we? So let me just say. So on Roseanna. Sorry guys, all my messages. You can see all my messages now. Right. So this one here, we got April the 4th. 2019. Gay clubs are wild because you can run into both these guys and find out they are 23 years old. Let's have a look if this is actually changing. Has the screen changed for you guys?
Yeah.
Right, again,
Yes,
you can see there, Drag Story Hour on the 26th of July 2020. Love has no age. Oh, again, Ada HD, Drag Ada HD. So this was posted on the 4th of April 2019. And on that bare bottom there, you can see it says Ada was here. I wonder what that means. Oh, and there's another one. Again, Ada HD Drag posted on the 7th of April 2019. When you're at an orgy and another bottom tries to steal the top that's about to destroy your all.
Let's have him read to our little children.
Yeah, because he's been reading to children as well since 2017.
That wasn't the only evidence I give. I also showed them the posts where Ada had actively used his celebrity status to fundraise for the funeral of a convicted paedophile. This person was a prolific offender. He was on the sex offenders register for life. He was a repeat offender. He was prolific in the sense he was advertising services for christenings up until his final breath. And his words were, rest in power. You are very powerful when you're over a child and you're a grown adult. Yes, you are, Ada. I will agree with that. So that is the evidence that Channel 4 News covered up. So I did email Channel 4 News and I asked them for a statement regarding this, because obviously the safeguarding of the children now, as far as I'm concerned, with regards to Ada HD, is on the heads of Channel 4 News. It's as simple as that. We provided them with this evidence. They said to me that they had done the checks. Guys, we have that video uncut, 18 minutes, okay? We'll put it out for you. So they were saying they had done the checks and they had done some background checks. And like I said, if you had done checks, you would have found what I've just shown you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have to go that far.
Yes, will only show you convictions. Convictions. It is very hard to get a conviction. It's really hard to get a disclosure, let alone a conviction. You can also change the name as well, so it's an alias. You know, over 90% of paedophiles haven't been caught yet.
Yeah.
So, and an element of this crime is secrecy. You know, and when you're dealing, you know, even if this guy, you know, he's posting this stuff because it's tongue-in-cheek moment, it is not the kind of thing you post as a children's entertainer. Then to go on and support a convicted paedophile, a prolific offender, use your celebrity status as a children's entertainer, you shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a child ever again.
And the point was, if this was a teacher in your child's school and they were posting like content as explicit as this, then there would be parents going into the headmaster's office on Monday morning complaining that this is disgusting. If you had a teacher posting about orgies, if you had a teacher fundraising for a local child rapist that was living in your town, parents would be up in arms. But because it's a man in a dress, because it's this whole woke agenda, you're homophobic if you dare to question, you know, and he's publicly displayed excuse me, too many P's in that sentence, publicly displayed predatory behavior when he put he harassed that woman, put her address online so that his supporters would also harass her. You know, there's been lots of incidences where he has shown deviant behavior, predatory behavior, and these are terminologies that people pulled me up on and said, you know, how can you use those terms? And I showed them then the dictionary definition of these terms, and he does indeed fit the definition. You know, it just blows my mind that after being presented with this evidence, instead of being absolutely perturbed by it, you're excusing him. It's just, I'm sorry, when it comes to children and safeguarding, you would take every precaution before you would give them the benefit of the doubt with your child's safety, you know?
Well, he undoubtedly supports the rape of little boys. When he was supporting that paedophile and actively fundraising for his funeral, you're supporting the rape of boys, of young boys. Your social media supports that way of thinking. Now, I've got 24 years life experience, criminal justice, institutional child sex abuse from a youth offenders institute. I'm now a qualified criminologist. I've done 12 years study into the mind of a perpetrator. The only way you can convince me that man is safe around children is if I can read his brain while he's performing. You know,
when we brought this up,
calling me a H hard on for a reason, because the pictures of him, he has a big, massive. You can see his penis coming up the front of his clothes, right up to his belly button, and you've got 4-year-olds clapping like seals looking up to it.
That is
It's absolutely ridiculous. I have to be. I can't say any further than that now because I might obviously speak out of turn. But this is all. Everything here is proven as fact. It's all there on the internet. We, you are what you do, not what you say you do. Oh, I only read to children. No, you don't just read to children at all. You're a sexual deviant who fantasizes about young boys and old men in gay clubs. Both fair game.
Stated that the highest age that he likes to read to is about age 11. He said about age 11 is like the top age. He tends to work with like 4, 5, 6-year-olds. He's openly stated this in an interview. And that begs the question, why? Age 11 is when their brains aren't quite so much like little sponges. And yes, I'm not saying that he's going on and doing sexual performances for these kids. What the point is that it is normalizing this sort of, it's like drip feeding, slightly less boundaries until there's no boundaries at all. And then they are essentially normalizing paedophilia. And it's like we were discussing earlier, Rose, about how we feel that the end game here is to recategorize paedophilia as a sexual orientation as opposed to, disgusting, abominable, deviant behavior. And that's where that's where we're going. It's just drip feeding until people, and then silencing anybody that raises any concerns so that then people are too scared to speak out for fear of losing their jobs, for fear of being labeled. And so eventually nobody has a voice anymore.
It's funny you should say that, you see, because I'm 40 years of age and it's no secret that I've been in the Youth Offenders Institute. No secret at all. I'm the first one to tell you, okay? I was a homeless teen from the age of 14 to 21, right? I'm the first one to tell you that. What do you think is the first thing people say about me if they don't want you to follow me? She served time. Yeah, but why did I serve time? I was a child. I was on the child protection register, homeless. I was a child. You're attacking the child me. You're attacking the child me when we're bringing you evidence of these adults, what they're actively doing today. And that is okay. So, from where I'm sitting, the attacks are always on the children here. Adults can get away with what they want. They can say what they want, do what they want. But people are quick enough bringing up that point about me to turn people off, to try and discredit me, to try and discredit my character. But we are not allowed to discuss people's social media. We are not allowed to discuss their actions, their use of celebrity status to support the work of paedophiles.
Mm-hmm. When we brought this up,
is a fact. Rosie, you did say about, sorry to interrupt there, right. You did say about funding. Can you repeat for everyone watching what you said to us before we went live with regards to funds for this act?
Well, we found out that Welsh Water had given Brecon Town Council a certain amount of funding. Now, that funding all unanimously got voted to be spent on Pride. That's £5,000 worth of funding. Nobody was consulted on it. Not one person.
Public purse, and also we've got
for community funds. I can read it here too, actually. Hang on, bear with me just 1 second.
So you did say that Ada's actually getting paid. Apparently, he's getting paid £300. Apparently, for the show.
That's what.
So where are all these thousands of pounds going to? What's it actually for? He wears the same wig every time. It's not as if he's changing his costume. It's not jewelry, is there, So where is this money actually going?
So this is Welsh Water Community Fund, and it can be spent on it can't be spent on shortfall funding, party political activities, and specifically religious groups. Well, to me, this is a party political activity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, it is. And if you look at the constituents in our town, it's pretty obvious that it is a political It's political. It really does. And I mean, when the Children's Commissioner came back and said that they had consulted with the Welsh government and they had said that it was okay. Well, we're Labour. The Welsh government is Labour. You know, they're pretty much funding this event, so obviously they're going to say it's okay. You know, it feels that we're fighting the entire establishment here, but it's not something that we can give up. We just need to keep on raising this awareness to as many people as we can, because that's how changes get made. You know,
when we posted this originally on Brecon community group as well, we brought about obviously the term safeguarding, and we were like, look, this is a safeguarding issue. Oh no, because DBS checks have been done. And we were like, well, look, obviously you have to ask for that, but you can only have convictions. One of the 6 principles of safeguarding is prevention. It is better to take action before harm occurs. Yes. Right. So surely when you've got affiliations with dangerous people like that, prevention is the first term. And we were told that we were using the inadequate use of the term safeguarding.
Well, the thing is, what they mean there, so to put that policy into practice, into real terms, right? So they want a preventative first approach, that they are going off the DBS. So they're going to prevent you from getting caught again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they only know you've offended if you've already been caught. So if they're using that DBS, well, they're going to prevent you getting caught again, or prevent you... I just don't get it. What are they actually preventing? It's already happened.
And they've also said, that they are satisfied with the safeguarding measures in place. They have not challenged Brecon Town Council on their choice of performer, because this is a matter for them to decide. Now, if we bear in mind, excuse me, if we bear in mind that petition within 5 days got 1,144 signatures, this is a small community, right? Now, that in itself is showing that there's a lot of people that are opposing this. Brecon Town Council, they are not taking into account the people of this community. We are speaking, and they're labelling us a small minority. The petition has showed them that we're not a small minority, but what they've done is they've silenced the petition so they can continue on with their agenda. Now, they are not listening to the community, and that's the point here. What are you supposed to do when they're just ignoring you, silencing you, blocking you? And when it comes to the day, I mean, they're anticipating, and in fact, I think that they're inciting protests. So we've made the decision that we are not going to protest, because we don't want to scare children. That's the exact opposite of what we want.
It goes against everything that we're standing for, isn't it?
Exactly. And then it's going to get on us that we're causing this that's exactly the opposite of what we want. But we're just hoping to raise enough awareness of this so that people actually think twice and are aware of the wider agenda that is at play here.
So this police officer, this Stafford Powys police officer, did you give them did you show them the evidence of this person's social media?
We put all the evidence. We put it on the link for everybody to be able to have a look at it, because we also found something else, Kim.
And you've got her name, yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Obviously, we can go to the Police and Crime Commission regarding that then, because obviously you've provided evidence of a concern of a sexual nature, and that officer has actively reported it. So that's something
there was a Pride event in Welshpool that was completely pulled. I don't know if you've heard about this. And the reason it was pulled is the person who was organising it was an ex-drag queen who then got convicted of child sex offences. Now that got completely pulled. This is in the same county, mind. The guy who's running the Brecon Pride event is a county councillor from Powys, a deputy county councillor. And if he didn't have prior knowledge of this, now where the hell has he been?
Exactly.
And he's carried on knowing full well that that's been pulled and that's been kept hush-hush, but then carried on this event as if nothing's happened. Is that conflict of interest or what?
The thing is, what we're dealing with here is an agenda, and like Lucy said about the legalising of paedophilia, the research has already been done for that, and it's in the Human Behaviour of the Sexual Male by Alfred Kinsey. So, we're almost at the end of that. The last taboo is incest. People are going to think we're absolutely insane saying this stuff. So I'll just say,
even that book that you were just showing then, which could be depicted as polyamory, but then equally we were saying it could be brothers and sisters, so it could be indicative of incest as well. But it's very open to interpretation, and so they'll argue their case, but you know, you can see the undertones of what they're sort of bringing. Yes, it might not be bang in your face sexualizing of that nature, but it is just the subtle undertones that they're bringing in, and then drip feeding over a period of time until more and more gets normalized. And then anybody, like I said before, anyone that speaks out against it is, you know, I was saying, I'm sure they're going to end up bringing out laws against anybody that speaks out against it. So
yeah, absolutely they are.
No, it's just absolutely absurd, and so many people vehemently oppose this, but they are too scared to speak out because they're saying, you know, I got to put food on the table. And I hear you, but at the same time, if you don't stand up now, then you're not gonna, your child and their generation is not going to have a choice, you know.
We've had so many inbox messages privately from different people saying, look, you know, we support what you're doing, but we can't say anything because we're afraid that our business is going to collapse, or like, what, our children are going to get blacklisted, that we're going to have all of this backlash. And we're like, look, you know, at what point? Like, is it going to be somebody else's child abuse, or is it going to get to the point where you brush that under the carpet because it wasn't your child?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
when it is your child, it's too late.
Guys, in a world where you can be anything, you've got to be brave. Now is the time.
Yeah.
Now is the time. We're all about to lose our identity. Childhood, in a sense, is about to be a thing of the past. People writing these documents, read up on queer theory. They don't believe in childhood. They believe a child and adult equals okay. Look into this stuff. We're not making this stuff up. Trust me, if we wanted to make up stories, it wouldn't be about these kinds of activities around children. It would be something far more exciting and something that you could accept, you know. We would not be talking about these topics for fun. It's a serious subject, and everybody needs to get with the program right now. But one thing I would say for parents out there, a lot of people aren't going to like this approach that I am taking now, but I don't care. A line has been crossed. It was crossed a long time ago. We have to educate our children about groomers. We have to teach our children that groomers groom adults too. And we have to teach our children that every single man that comes into your school dressed as a woman is a groomer. They've groomed the teacher to get in there. It's as simple as that. So we will tarnish the whole of the drag industry if you don't get out of our kids' faces. It's as simple as that. That's the way I'm moving forward. Children need to know that adults are groomed before they are groomed. And if a man dressed up as a woman with high heels is a perfect description, the first step to teaching our children about grooming, then that's an easy step to take. Make our day. That's what we'll do.
The thing is, we've actually seen, like you were saying, that they're drip feeding it in. They're drip feeding this, little bit, with the drag queen story out. Now, we've actually seen instances where drag queens have done sexual acts. Like there was that thing where I've written it down, Cabba Baba rave in London, where they were dressed in bondage, these drag queens, and they were dancing very seductively. And there was babies there, and that was their excuse. They were babies. They don't understand. Well, actually, I did see a photo with a toddler one of them was holding a toddler with little tassels on his nipples and, wearing a thong. Like, do you want to wait for it to get to that far? Well, actually, it has got that far. Yeah. And then when you read the articles from the left papers, such as like the Pink News, they're defending that. They're saying, what's wrong with these bigots? They're calling us bigots or calling people bigots for saying that is wrong and it's not for babies.
Well, do you know what? Should we just make something perfectly clear here now? We don't care about being called a bigot.
No.
We don't care about being called homophobic. We are not supporting paedophiles.
Yeah.
You are what you do, not what you say you do. If you say the grass is blue, it's never going to be blue. Just in the same way, we are never going to be bigots or homophobes, but you will always be supporting paedophiles.
The truth changes.
You're not going to change that fact.
And what we have to remember as well is, do these people really think that we as single mothers, Roseanna, mother of 3 children, we're busy, we've got stuff to do, Do you really think that I'm going to be wasting my time and my energy? And it's taken a lot of time and a lot of my energy, on finding out all this information and trying to bring this to the public. I'm not gaining anything from it. My children won't be going anywhere near there.
If anything, our kids miss out, won't they?
It's the continual sexualization, indoctrination, and normalizing of this bullshit that is becoming so that it's imposing so much on everybody, and it's like people are not realizing it, but it's everywhere. Costa Coffee had a bloody an advert with like somebody in the advert. had their breast chopped off. And it's like, what the fuck, excuse my language, what has that got to do with coffee? You know, it's like they're just dripping it into every echelon of our society. And it's as a mother, it scares me. It scares the life out of me for the future of my children and everyone else's children, especially those who can't even see it, you know, so they can't even teach their children that this is twisted, this is not normal, you know. It's a wild world that we're living in now, and I think that it's going to take a lot of us mothers to really stand up and, you know, stand in our power and not give up. We've got to do this, you know, because
this is the reason why we've got to be vocal anyway, isn't it?
What I'm finding is a lot of these people, they got insecurities. You know, if you need a platform, if you're so desperate for a flag and this glitter and community, you've got some serious insecurities. Because when you actually research how you got your rights, where they actually came from, those people were never there for you. Those people were there because they were after the children. So I have been asked time and time again, why do you disagree to this teacher? And I absolutely don't disagree to any of it. I'm campaigning against it because you're not teaching the truth. You're not teaching the full fact. You don't cherry pick what you want to teach just to twist a child's mind. Teach those children the truth. How you got to where you are. Who put you there? Who wrote that piece of paper? What do they say about you? Where are they all coming from? What do they do behind closed doors? They don't support gay people, that's for sure.
And don't you think it's manipulative, in a sense, for us to, you know, we should be empowering our children and teaching them that if you don't feel happy in your body, you know, we teach them ways to love themselves. We teach them ways to accept themselves. We don't, you don't feel like you fit in, you know, like, as we know, this affects so many neurodivergent children. And, you know, that's something my daughter especially really struggles to feel like she fits into a group, you know, and she really struggles with that. So she's a prime candidate, you know, and what people are teaching their children instead, or what society is teaching, that's okay, we'll just change you. So what's that going to teach them in their later teen years or in their adulthood? The mental health issues that are going to arise as a result of this are going to be catastrophic, you know, and it's like we're not even looking at the future. And I just don't understand how people are just so manipulated into thinking that this is all okay. I cannot fathom it. I really can't.
It doesn't make sense, doesn't it? Because you're basically telling a child who doesn't like their body to have surgery or drugs to change their body. It makes no sense because, as you said, we always tell our children to love and accept the way they are. And, you know, we know ourselves, we're all women. We went through teenage years. How many girls going into teenage years are actually happy with their body? How many girls actually look at their friends and say, I wish I was more like them?
Let's be honest, we've got, now there's 2 women I know in their 40s who have just had breast implants taken back out, right? You know, and it was touch and go if they could actually have that operation because their bodies weren't fit enough to go through it. There's another woman on my Facebook, and I'm going to say her name because she doesn't mind. She's openly out there. It's written. She's got a page unapologetically re, and she's had some habits in her life, and she's, you know, tried to overcome them. But the biggest one of all, do you know what it came from? The bulimia and the eating fads of the 90s. That woman in her 40s, just turned 40, is still recovering from the fad from her teenage years.
Yeah.
You know, and that went into another issue and another issue and another issue. And now that woman is trying to recover. Now.
And what's going to happen? They are going to be, for the rest of their lives, they are going to be reliant on the state, the pharmaceutical industry. They're going to be reliant on support from the state because they're not, you know, it's unnatural. Everything that they're doing goes against natural law.
And they're consumers, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And the it just goes so deep, you know, the normalizing of, you know, a friend of mine said to me today, actually, that when she was pregnant, when she went to hospital, they asked her if she wanted to be referred to as a birthing mother or, a birthing person or a chest feeder, something like that. And I was like, what? Like, it is just insane where we're going with all of this, you know.
I just hold my hands up, right? I can tell you that's not happening in every single hospital because I just had a baby 6 weeks ago and I was in and out for a month and a half and not one person referred to me as that. And I brought up a lot about this trans movement and this whole
That's why they didn't refer to you as that.
because whilst I was in there and I was like this, I was telling everybody else about it as well, because I thought, what better place to be than a load of hormonal mothers?
Yeah. Fire.
We got about 5 minutes to go now before we hit the hour mark. Is there anything you want to say to the people watching now? Is there anything people out there can do to support you guys in Brecon? And for people in the rest of the UK, follow these ladies, do what these ladies are doing. You need to lead by example. You don't need a leader, okay? You stand on your own 2 feet. You stick up for yourself. You stick up for the person next door. We come together and we smash this out of the park. But is there anything, guys, that you want to say now, or is there anything you want to ask the audience?
I would like to say something quick. Okay. To be like, I would like it if people would like to join us. Please join us. We're a coalition. It's not just me and Lucy. We've got people from all walks of life. We've got people who are political. We've got people who are part of the LGB. We've got people who are like mothers, fathers. It's not just you. It's us as well. You know, you've got us behind you. We don't care what names get thrown at us. And what? Just water off the duck's back.
Bones will break our bones. The names aren't going to hurt.
Exactly. And now we're taught now about all this acceptance, but these people can't even accept themselves. Yeah. So you go forward, come and join us. We'll have you. Just all we've got to do is have the same goal in mind, and that is to make sure that no child gets hurt. Yeah. Like Kim says, no child left behind. Yeah. It's that simple. If you're a parent and you've got your heart in the right place, then you know what to do, don't you? We're not going to judge you. Even if you were to jump ship and say, do you know what? I was wrong. And what? We all make mistakes.
And I think my final message would be, you know, as long as you know that you are walking in love and you are genuinely working from your heart, which is what I know that we are doing. We are mothers. We care about these children more than anybody else on this planet. We are mothers. It's not just our own children we care about all children, you know. And I think that the goal here is to really raise the collective consciousness and allow people to really come into and step into their power, because the time is now. We haven't got no more time to mess about. We've, you know, like I put a post on the other day, we're not waking the sheep anymore. We're waking the sleeping lions. And that's what we need here, you know, because every little helps, you know, every little conversation you have with somebody, every little post you put on social media, you just put those branches out there and they eventually will connect you with your people. And trust me, there are millions of us, you know, we're not alone. If you're in a little town or a little village, you might feel like, oh God, I'm the only one. You're not. There are people out there, and we have, you know, we need to come together. We need to use our voices, and we need to do it now.
Yeah, so like anyone now in Brecon, anyone in Brecon now that wants to connect with these ladies, you can either get in touch with us, or it's Roseanna Lord and Lucy Jones, or you can get in contact with us on our page, and we'll forward the connection to you. We'll add their profile to you. So yeah, you need to get together. And the other thing I wanted to say as well, everybody write to your councils. Just write to them saying you are concerned and you do not want it. We want the councils like overloaded with complaints, so they have to do something about it, because that's the only way you're going to shut them down, if you're there in numbers complaining. And you know, if it's only a couple of people, you're not going to make an impact. But if the councils are just inundated with email after email, they have to do something about it. So everybody has to get on board now.
We need independent journalists to contact Brecon Town Council as well and ask for statements. If you're an independent journalist out there, do it. There's a story for you. It gives us a little bit of coverage, and it puts the heat on them.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, guys, if there's anything going on in your areas which you'd like to discuss, or you'd like to jump on, have a little chat, not just with myself and Lucia, any one of the team. Mind, you know, this streaming platform isn't just mine and Lou, even though it's our faces on it more than anyone. But if you would like to have a session with somebody, or you'd like to come on and talk about what's going on in your area, please get in touch. We are doing regular lives now moving forward. We will be discussing lots of aspects of our court case. It will apply to you all in the UK. It's vitally important you guys actually understand what went on, what we achieved, and what was within that file. Everything the media don't want you to know. So this is for the whole of the UK, guys. And like I said, I think that's it for me.
Have I got time? Sorry. Rosie mentioned earlier, with the petition being pulled, obviously, do you want to go on, just discuss that, Rose? Because obviously their petition was pulled as well, wasn't it?
Well, yours was messed around, wasn't it? And then Too Much Too Young was also pulled and messed around with as well. And I said to Lucy, you know, we at Brecon Town Council are a Labour government. The Labour government run Wales. If they think that, you know, if people think that can't happen, they're completely wrong. You know, just look, you know, if they want to come in and do stuff like that, what are they hiding?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they want this kept quiet? You've got to be asking yourself that question.
And they're going to be saying that it's misinformation, and that's why the petition got pulled. But actually, there wasn't any misinformation in there. So people are going to read their statement and be like, oh, that petition was full of misinformation. Well, actually, like, you disproved them when they said that you were spouting disinformation, didn't you? You disproved that. And so we just want to highlight the fact that, yes, they will say that. But a little bit down the line, maybe you'll come to find that actually we weren't telling any lies. They were.
It was on public record, isn't it, with you guys?
Yeah.
I just want a final word to Wales as a country, I do. Guys, we are being used as a test bed, okay? That's why we had this legislation with RSE before the lesson content. However, we have only had a devolved government for 20 years. Now, in the last couple of years alone, they have legislated against us for everything, and we're just about to become members of Royal Snail, aren't we? You know, there's a lot going on in this country, and if we can't make change in a government that's only been standing for 20 years, then who are we? Okay, we're being used as a test bed. We need to stand up. If we can't overturn one thing for our children, then who are we?
Remember
our purpose.
Power. The people have the power, and it's every individual has to know that they've got that power. Otherwise, you're going to just lie dormant because you're being programmed. Every single person that stands up does make a difference, and we need to remember that.
Yeah. I left school in 1999. Now, everybody my age, I want you all to imagine your village, your town, the year you left school, okay? If it was 1999 or 2000 or whatever. Look at your town and your village now. Look at everything that's missing. That's how long the Labour government have been in power. That's how much good they have done for us. They've only been there for 20 years. We can and we will do this because we are the dragons. We're not the dragonflies, guys, okay? So it might take a little bit of time, but the world is watching. The world is watching us being trampled. Now, the world needs to watch us rise just like they've watched us rise every other time in history. That's why they save the best till last, guys. You know, because we are not to be messed with. We don't take things lightly. And like I said, if we can't do this in a 20-year-old government, then who have we become? Totally. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to pass it over to Lucia.
Yeah, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. You're both brilliant. Rose, I know that you've only just, your baby's 6 weeks. You've got a little baby, you've got 2 other children, you've got a lot going on. Obviously, you, Lucy, I've only just met you tonight for the first time, but Roseanna says some fantastic things about you. Obviously, you've got a lot going on. You've got a neurodiverse child, and you know, we're all mums at the end of the day, and we're doing everything we can. So we just urge everyone else to get on board. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing up in Brecon. Really appreciate it.
And thank you all for watching tonight, guys. We had a good few on. There was way too many in the chat to address the chat. But like I said, this was for the mums in Brecon. If you guys are doing anything and you're not getting the support of the platform, please, guys, we would love to have you on. We will be on regular from now on. We've been saying that for weeks. But now that we're back, you try getting rid of us.
Yay.
Thank you all so much. Are we going to end, Lou, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to go now. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next week. So, bye, girls. Thank you for coming on.
See you.
Thanks everyone. Thank you all. Bye.
See you.